Arctic Circle. So 3 seconds for you to think about it. Is it true or not? 2, 1. All right. So for the Arctic, actually, there is a very large area, and Canada, including New West Territory, and then also for Nunavut, they're actually part of the Arctic Circle. And for the US, they have part of the region are actually included in Arctic Circle as well, which is Alaska. Oh, that's so cool of you. And number 4, for the question that I have, there are no people living within the Arctic Circle. Is it true or not? So 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right. So for this question, actually, we have friends living up north in the Arctic Circle. So for Canada, we have a community of indigenous people called Inuits. And in their language, Inuit means people. And they lived there thousands of years ago, and they have traditional knowledge on how to survive over there, and they are really knowledgeable, and they usually chat with us a lot. So later on I can share with you about what they have told us later. And the last question for me is, what kind of animals can you see in the Arctic? So try to think of the examples in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, I'm sure all of you can actually think of some animals that you can see in the Arctic. So today I'm going to tell you about the animals in the Arctic and what are those adaptations that they have in order to survive in the environment that cold. So I'm going to show you a picture about the Arctic, and you will see the environment up there. So it's a very large open area, and then there's ice floating around, and usually you can see some open water region as well. So there's a lot of different kind of animals that live near the ice and also underneath the water too. So for example, we have Arctic fox walking around, we have polar bear for sure, and we do have rain seal and also beluga, narwhals, as well as walruses as well. So here with me, I have a stuffed whale with me. It's a very nice one. It's a beluga. So for beluga, they have a lot of adaptation on their body structure and also their behavior in order to help them survive in the environment, like the picture I've shown you. So for the first one is that they are actually white in color. So that's why they can actually doing camouflage in the environment. So when they are near the ice, the body color actually blends into the environment so that the predators like sharks or even whales or polar bears, they might not see them very easily just because of the white color on their body. And for the beluga, they do not have the fins here, the dorsal fins like other whales as well. So this is a very nice structure for them because they usually swim near the surface of the water. And because of the water, the cold water there, beluga actually have to keep themselves warm. So as time goes by, their fin actually disappeared, and to help them to reduce the heat loss for themselves so that they won't feel very cold when they're swimming inside the water. So there's one more thing that I want you to know about beluga is that they're actually a very, very fat animal as well. So I want you to stick out your hands like this and make a thumbs up. And then also to stick out your little pinky nail as well, pinky finger. And then I want you to really put it to your tummy and then try to wrap around your body. Why am I asking you to do so is that the length from your thumb to your pinky finger is actually the length of the fat inside the body. So I have another props here to show you how thick it is. And this kind of fat tissue inside the beluga is called the blubber. And it's very useful for the Inuit people up north because these are the blubbers that they will use as food and energy source. So that's why Inuit people, they actually go hunt for beluga in order to get nutrients like proteins and fats in order to keep themselves warm as well. So for the Inuit people, they have a specific kind of method in order to hunt for beluga in a very sustainable way. That means they will not try to hunt more than they need for the beluga in order to keep the population there thriving and also to keep them stable. So for the Inuit people there, they actually need beluga a lot because they're friends as well as they have the food sources at the same time too. And these are the adaptations that the beluga have. They do not have the dorsal fin anymore. They have white color as the body structure, and then they do not have. They try to blend into the environment, and they do have blubber inside their tummy in order to survive. And one cool fact for you is that actually for blubber, they have the word for the Inuit people as well. And I want you to try and follow me. And it's called the muduk. Muduk. Yeah. So this word is used by Inuit people to communicate with each other to talk about the blubber inside the beluga. So it's very cool. And for another feature that I want you to know about the beluga is that they actually try to find food under the water using this blob here on the body. So I'm going to move it a little bit, and you can see there's a bumpy head here. And this part we call them melon. And what those beluga do is actually they have a very nice superpower called echolocation. So they try to move the melon here and try to produce some clicks and sound. And they try to make a lot of waves, sound waves, in order to locate all those things around them. So let's say there's a prey nearby, and when the melon actually emits some of the sound wave, they can actually travel through the water, hit that fish, and then they will bounce back and then received by the beluga again. And beluga is very good at trying to calculating and locating those prey. And that's why the beluga can try to locate a prey and try to swim really, really fast in order to capture that fish in seconds. So they are very cool with echolocation, and this is some specialty that they have in order to survive in the ocean as well. So after talking about the beluga, I would love you to think of other adaptations that other animals have as well. So I'm going to show you another picture of another kind of animals that happens to be in the Arctic. And I want you to really tell me what kind of adaptations do walruses have? So let me give you 10 seconds to think about that. Hint is there's something different and something similar to the beluga.
Mm.
Ooh.
Nice mustache.
Yeah, like mustache, and then also they are very fat as well. So this is my hint for you. All right, so back to me. For walruses, they are really, really big, and they have like tons. The weight can be up to tons, and even 10 to 20 tons or more as well. Depends on whether they are males or females. But they have similar structure with beluga as well. So they have blubber inside their bodies to keep themselves warm in such a cold environment. And they also have their mustache here in order to detect chemicals around them and try to locate their prey, such as fish as well. So these are the cool things that they have for adaptation. And here I have is a tusk of a walrus, and it's really, really heavy. I would say it's similar to a bag of rice. It's so heavy, like a few kilograms. And this is something that is unique for a walrus because they have tugs that they can actually hold on to the ice in the Arctic so that they can escape from predators, or they can rest or find their mate on that ice. So they use the tugs to try to insert it into the ice and then try to move the whole body forward. And this helps a lot. And it's actually made of calcium. So it's very strong and it's very dense as well. So this is one of the coolest things that I've learned about the walruses. And this is very useful for them. But however, I know that some of the illegal hunters, they actually travel up north in order to hunt for the tugs because it's very useful, or it would become an art installation art for people around the world as well. So this is a threat for the walruses up north too. So there's a lot of different kind of adaptations that belugas, walruses, and even other kind of animals that they have as well. And after talking about those Arctic animals and and also the adaptations, I would love to focus on what the threats they have besides having illegal trafficking or even illegal extracting of those tugs. Is that nowadays we have climate change issues around the world, and the temperature is getting hotter and hotter. So I want you to really think in your daily life, do you think that the weather now is getting hotter and hotter? Probably. So yeah, that's true. And from my experience, as I'm from Hong Kong, which is in a tropical area, a subtropical area, we get hotter and hotter. So I remember I still have a very cold Christmas in Hong Kong when I was small, like 6 or 7 years old. The weather is around 12 or even 13 degrees Celsius. But now all of my friends in Hong Kong, they're actually wearing short sleeves for their Christmas, and it's getting more hotter and hotter. It's like 25 or 26 degrees Celsius right now. So the temperature is quite fluctuated. And but for the animals up north, they experience the most because for the climate change, actually the temperature or other effects are actually getting more serious than the other part of the earth. So we actually talk to different friends from up north, including Inuit people, and they actually tell us about this the situation up there. So I remember one of the friends that up there, they told us they are no longer able to walk on ice because of the temperature, the hot temperature. Ice actually become thinner and thinner. So maybe initially they will have like 3 to 4 meters of ice around them, but now it will become like just a very thin one and will break off very easily. And they try not to travel a lot because it will cause a very harmful environment for them to really travel. And as a result, they have less chance for them to go hunting and try to look for belugas or even caribou for their diets as well. And also because of the temperature up north, a lot of animals actually do not adapt very nicely with the changing environment, and that's why the population is getting smaller and smaller. So as they told us, it's more difficult for them to find food like belugas or even caribou a lot, and then they cannot rely on products in supermarkets because it's really, really expensive. So when you take a look at some journals or even word from them, you can see actually like a tomato that we can see in the supermarket, it will cost like $5 Canadian dollars for them up north as well. Yeah, so it makes people up north getting more difficult for their lives, and they cannot have a very nice livelihood like we have. And those animals up north are actually experience the climate change as well, where sea ice are getting thinner and thinner, and they do not have the ability to find food because the ice starts to melt, and then all the ice area become isolated. So if you take a look at news, polar bears are actually trying to find food in open water, and they get slimmer and slimmer just because they do not have food for a while already. Yeah, so this is something that we need to focus on and try to learn more about the Arctic in order to save all those friends up north, not just people there, but also the animals around too. Yeah, so Jess, do you want to ask some questions for now before we jump to the conservation message?
Absolutely, sure. We'll wrap up with the conservation message after some Q&A. We've got a whole class of third graders joining in, so we really appreciate you guys tuning in, and a bunch of other folks as well. So please just let me know where you're joining from if you haven't already, and I look forward to taking as many questions as possible. But let's dive in. So Maria wanted to ask, how long does it take for animals to adapt to a new environment? Is it within their lifetime? Is it multiple generations? Do we know?
Oh, that's a very good question. Actually, there is a process called evolution and natural selection. And for a lot of animals, they cannot adapt to the environment rapidly. They will try to change from generation to generation. So that's why when belugas, a lot of scientists actually believe that there's dorsal fin on beluga whales like thousands of years ago, but now because of time, because of different generation, and because of the evolution, they try to the dorsal fin try to disappeared just to try to adapt to the environment. Sorry, because there's some people walking around, so I got distracted.
Okay, we hear you over them, so don't worry. If you're worrying they're going to be too loud, we're good. Fantastic, Nicole. All right. The young family at home wants to know, what's your favorite part of your job, Nicole?
My favorite part of my job is actually talking to friends around the world, because I really want to know about their livelihood everywhere and try to know about the stories. Like some of my friends are actually citizen scientists to try to collect water samples to learn about plantains. And some of my friends are actually up north and try to learn about belugas and try to learn about microplastic issues up there as well. Yeah, so I really love to try to chat with different people and try to learn new stuff.
Amazing. Thanks so much. All right. Pam wants to know, what are some predators for beluga whales?
Ooh. For beluga whales, actually, they have several predators. So one of them, polar bear, and I believe, Jess, you have some like experience about, or you have watched.
Story.
Right?
Yeah, just something that people can tune in on at home. So 7 Worlds, One Planet is a recent BBC series where they literally show polar bears waiting on rocks for belugas to swim by them, and then they leap on the whales and tear them out of the water and eat them, which is pretty wild and sort of something very unexpected to me. So yes, polar bears are a predator of belugas. Are there any others, Nicole?
I believe there's sharks and whales as well, but I'm not sure about the species. But yeah, usually narwhals are around the ocean as well, around the Arctic. They might be the predators of those beluga.
Yeah, you can pretty much assume that anything in the water will be eaten by killer whales. Killer whales eat absolutely everything from great white sharks to blue whales and more. So anytime there's an oceanic animal, consider that a predator. They're very cool. All right. On the flip side, Joseph wants to ask, what do beluga whales eat? So we know that things are eating them. What are they eating?
That's a very good question. For beluga, they actually eat fish a lot. So they would eat Arctic char and also other kind of fish. And those fish are really brilliant as well because they have anti-freeze cells on their body so that they can try to maintain the body temperature in such a cold temperature as well. So these are the fish are actually the food for beluga.
Very cool. All right. Ethan in Boston. Ethan, you've been joining like all these sessions. I love it, man. We appreciate you coming back. So he wants to know, are there more animals in sort of the northern area in the Arctic or in the south in the Antarctic? And if you know.
Whoa. This is a question that scientists are actually learning about as well. So for now, we can actually think of a lot of different kind of animals in whatever is up north or even in the southern hemisphere. But like most of the animals or plants are actually happen to be near the tropical area. And scientists are actually trying to know more about the Arctic and also Antarctica, and so that they try to see what kind of new species can they find in these two areas as well. Because for North Pole and South Pole, they're a very harsh environment. Not they Scientists actually presume that not many animals are actually able to actually survive in such cold weather and is in such a harsh air environment, but they end up having a lot of research telling us that there are new species around, and even sharks, they can actually live near the Arctic too. So some of our indigenous people, they actually have sightings of sharks near the Arctic too. So it is a very nice question for you to ask. And then scientists are actually finding more and more species around. So stay tuned and try to learn more about the ocean. And that's the way how you can actually learn more.
Very cool. I love, by the way, that you keep incorporating these indigenous messages. So this is something that Canadians are really coming to understand and value a lot more, is the perspectives, the knowledge, the science, and the understanding over thousands of years in Canada's north from indigenous communities. So we really appreciate you taking the time to highlight that today.
Yeah.
All right, let's pass along. Oh, Pam wants to know, do we know how many belugas are left in the wild?
Ooh, I do not have the exact number with me today, but for beluga whales, the number is decreasing because of the climate change problem around the world. And but for indigenous people and also scientists, they're actually trying to work together and try to know about the population up north. And the people up north, they're trying to do sustainable fishing as well, so they can try to control or try to maintain the population there. And yeah, we need your help too.
Very cool. All right. A question just for you guys that I wanted to ask at the Vancouver Aquarium. Do you have Arctic animals on site there? Is there anything that we can come see when you guys open up again?
That's a very good question. For now, we do have a fish Arctic chart at the back of this little habitat, but it's too bright, I guess. But we do have lump sucker that is a kind of fish that is like a golf ball size. They actually appear near the Arctic as well. But we do not have very large mammals here just because of the Canadian law. And yeah, we're happy to show you more artifacts or even more information if you would like to. And of course, because we have a dedicated team up north to do research for us. So feel free to go to the YouTube channel and learn more about their work up north.
Yeah, so I want to stress that too, and I'm going to pass this in the YouTube chat bar. Ocean Wise is probably the most robust online ocean education platform of any organization in the world. So if you guys want to learn tons while you're stuck at home about what they do there, about conservation, and about oceans generally, check that out. It's education.ocean.org. That's correct, Nicole? Yes? Good. So I'll pass that along in the chat bar for you guys to check out. All right, another quick question. Miles wanted to know, what do walruses eat?
Whoa. For walruses, they usually eat fish. For the attacks, sometimes they will hunt for fish or try to like fight with other mate against food as well. But mainly they would eat fish. And I remember when we were having walruses here in the Vancouver Aquarium, we actually fed them with fish as well.
All right. And then of course, the flip side of that question, does anything eat walruses?
For walruses, they actually sometimes polar bear might hunt on them, and again, for killer whale, they might have the ability to actually prey on those walruses as well. But for walruses, they have the ability to hold on ice to escape from predators. So this is one of the adaptations in terms of behavior for them.
Yeah. Ironically, this is another thing that's in the 7 Worlds, One Planet series. They have about 100,000 walruses altogether in the northern part of Russia, and polar bears are trying to attack them, but it's a very, very desperate polar bear that attacks a walrus. This is an animal that is several tons with tusks that are 2-3 feet long. So usually the walrus will win that battle. All right. Again, Ethan in Boston wants to ask, how are you doing with your trash? So like what, I guess I'm going to interpret that question as, how are we dealing with trash as an issue, or marine plastics or ocean plastics? Is this affecting Arctic animals?
Yeah, they're actually affecting animals up north as well. So indigenous people up there actually work with scientists, and what they do is actually they try to donate the intestine of the beluga and try to hand it to the scientists for analysis. And what they found is actually tons of plastic inside. So it's actually affecting those people up north and also the animals too. So how do we actually deal with trash? It's very easy. Try to reduce the use of plastic, because plastic can last very, very long. Even when after our life, they might even survive or even exist in the earth as well. So try to avoid using any single-use plastics, and try to reuse, recycle, or try to refuse using plastic in restaurant as well. So these kind of things that can help us to reduce ocean plastic as well as rubbish. And of course, when you're going out for a walk near the beach or even in the lake, try to pick up rubbish as many as you can. And by that little act, you can actually save friends from the ocean, because sometimes plastic or trash will be mistaken by animals as food, and they try to eat them, and they might die of starvation because they cannot get any nutrients at all.
Very, very neat. All right, Nicole, this has been great. Now, you had said earlier when you wrapped up your initial part of your presentation that you wanted to end with a conservation message. So, you highlighted a little bit of it there. Some fantastic things people can do at home. Do these animals have a fighting chance? I think we get this a lot in conservation-based programs. Is there things like these actions that we can do? Can these really make a difference to these sort of creatures? And can you give examples if any jump to mind?
For sure. So our little actions can actually help those animals a lot. So for if you take a look at news, not only in the animals in the Arctic, but also the animals like sea turtles in the tropical area, they're actually suffering from ocean plastic and pollution as well. So they try to take in a lot of plastic inside their tummy, and as a result, they block the intestine and also the digestive system over there, and that's why they die of starvation. And by doing citizen scientists job projects online or even at your home can actually help to collect data about those animals, so that we can know more about the Arctic animals or even the environment around us, so that we can try to see from a very big picture of how those animals distribute or even how they actually interact with the environment. So the more we know, actually we can help more animals around us and also the environment. So only a small step can make a very great difference. So I really encourage you to really find the citizen science project around you and try to contribute more. And even though you can try, even though it might sound a very big project for you, but another way you can actually try to learn more about ocean science by logging into our online learning platform and then try to take a look at the YouTube channel. And the more we know, actually, we can figure out or brainstorm a lot of different kind of that can help the environment. So I would say there's a lot of encouraging news around the world that scientists and also citizens are actually doing to help the environment. But we need more help from you.
Amazing. So again, I'm going to pass along the ocean resource page for Ocean Wise in the YouTube chat bar. And again, this is the time, and it's your age group. So for our grade 3 boys and for everyone who's a student who's tuning in, look, we've had marches of millions of people around the world in the last year and a half, all on climate change. Your generation is the most engaged, the most active ever. All these things make a huge difference. So we encourage you to keep it up and do some more. And again, we're going to be joined by Vancouver Aquarium and Ocean Wise for many, many weeks to come while, facilities are closed and kids are stuck at home. So keep tuning in to Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants, learn more from us, and we really hope you guys can come back soon. Nicole, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Bye for now, guys. See you later.